Hi, Mary. Mary, I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I can hear you now, Mary.
Okay.
Isn't it a fun game we play with the mute button?
Yes.
Hi, Nick.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
Just okay?
Just okay. Can you guys see me?
Yep.
I can see you.
Huh? You can see me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Because my picture went off of here.
Oh,
So, okay.
Do you see us?
I see you guys. Yeah.
You know what? If you look up in the top, there's a button that says view. And there's a number of different
Oh,
kinds of
yeah. Yeah.
views you can have.
So do I go gallery?
Whatever you want. There's a whole bunch of possibilities.
Okay. I just have to know if I have to behave myself. See if people see me, I have to behave myself. That's the thing.
Plus, we're recording.
right.
That's true. That is true.
Nick, did you get a haircut?
I did.
Looks good.
Thanks. I did most of it myself.
Way to go.
My wife had to do the back.
We all need a little help sometimes.
Yep.
Maria, are you from FLOC?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate that Beth was able to put us in touch.
I didn't know if I could listen to the whole thing and
Oh, no, yeah.
kind of get a feel for it all.
Yeah, no, I absolutely welcome to be here and enjoy the whole night. So, um, but thank you so much.
Or
Uh,
zip out when you need to.
yeah. So in my typical I hate technology thing, I'm getting that restart and I cannot postpone it. So I will be hopping off and hopping back on in a different device. Um, but I'll be back in a moment.
Okay. Hi, Randy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Are you from Wright-Patt Credit Union?
I am.
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah.
Max was having a computer issue, but he'll be back in.
Oh no.
I hope we get a lot more Vincentians tonight.
I don't know. Well, it's probably cooling off now, but I had a event this morning and it ended about 11 and I thought, wow, what a beautiful day. I would really like to just go on a walk or do something else. But it's probably a little chillier now that the sun's going down.
Yeah, it's getting windy out there.
Yes, yes, it was windy.
How you doing, Eileen?
Hi there, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. Max had a little computer glitch, so he said he'll be right back on.
Not a problem.
Hello, Austin and Jennifer.
Hello. Now, I don't know if anybody else is having problems. When I clicked the link in the reminder email today, it thought I was the meeting organizer and was asking me to sign in. So I just went back to conference notes to pull it up.
Whoops. That's not good. Sorry about that.
Okay. We have Mary and we have Jennifer. Just waiting a few more minutes. Okay. It's about 6:05. Nick, do you want to lead us in prayer before we get started?
Sure. Let us pray. Loving God, we thank you for all of us work that we do to help our neighbors in need. We ask that this time that we get to spend together, that we might really, that it might be fruitful for us, that it might be fruitful for those who may watch this video later, that all of us might know better the resources that are available for our neighbors, and that that these resources might be very helpful. We thank you for all of those who work to make life better for our friends. We pray all this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So tonight we're just hearing from 3 different community organizations, and just in the hopes of better understanding how we can serve our neighbors better and how we can make connections in the Dayton area, and just be able to increase the resources that our Vincentians have at their disposal. And if anybody's wondering what a Vincentian is, a Vincentian is someone who's a member of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. We have several on this call tonight, and they work in our neighborhood ministries, reaching out to our neighbors in need in the Dayton area. It's sometimes help with food, utilities, or rent, but they really can have situations come at them that look that have many different looks and many different needs. So it's wonderful to just connect them with people and multiple resources. So thank you so much for being here tonight, all of you. We appreciate this time to hear about the great work that you're doing in the community. And without delay, let's get started. So I think Randy, if you're up first, I'd love it if you could just introduce yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. So, my name is Randy Sire Frazier. I'm the Community Impact and Development Manager for Wright-Patt Credit Union. I cover everything really from like Cincinnati up to like Troy, Piqua. And I have a counterpart in Columbus as well. My team oversees primarily community partnerships and our financial well-being programming for the credit union.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we also have Eileen from Dayton Energy, and I'm sorry. We also have Eileen and several of her other employees who are joining us tonight. And we have Maria from Filling Your Backpack. But we'll just begin with Randy.
Yeah, sounds good. And it's nice to see Eileen again. Eileen, I saw you at the summit that we did at the library. And I was like, I know she looks familiar. I don't know how or why. So I'm really glad that we made this connection. So very cool. I'm gonna share my screen if that's okay. And I don't use Zoom often. Can you see my screen? Okay, looks
Yes, I
like
can.
perfect. Okay, so I want to talk today just about our financial learning resources that we have. Everything I'm going to show you, with the exception of some loans that we're currently offering in terms of for government shutdown, people that have been affected. Everything else is really on the website, free to use, available for anyone, and really just can be pulled down, as people need it. And can be a resource for you as you're working with people or for people on their own as well. So on our website, we have our helpful resources page, and we just have a education center, which is this one right here. We really go through everything in a 4-pillar kind of like phase. So save, spend, borrow, and plan is really how we look at financial well-being. And so we have those broken out by category. And then we also have some different ways that people can access financial learning. So there are in-person and virtual events. These are typically going to be about 45 minutes. They're going to be on a variety of topics. I'll show you what the calendar looks like if you were to click that link. And really just, and again, anybody can hop on in the community and take part in this learning. Budgeting worksheets. So we have some examples of those as well. So if you were to click this, it would just take you to all of our financial worksheets that people could use. We also have interactive learning modules. I'll show you this too. I love these because they're on a very specific topic and they're about 5 to 10 minutes. So there might be five different courses in a playlist about, creating a budget or trying to start saving. And then each one of those is just 5 minutes. So you can take it on your own and it's very just easy and accessible. And then a couple other things. Just again, helpful tools. We have some brochures. So if you were to click this link, it's actually going to take you to a page where you'll see every flyer that we've created, but also all of our financial learning checklists, things like that. And I'll pull that up too. So Green-Path Financial Wellness is for our members, but they do a lot of like debt management programming. You probably hear on the radio, right? Like, oh, you need a debt management program and if you have $10,000 in credit card debt, we can save it, we can save you money. Those are not necessarily reputable. But we've partnered with Green-Path because they are also a not-for-profit. And so they really work with those collector agencies to help people, reduce their debt, come up with something more manageable per month. So this is something where if that is a necessity, that's something that's available to our members as well. But some of the links that I had shared, so our events calendar, it just looks like this. Again, completely, you just register, completely free. They try to do them at different times. So you might see some at noon, you might see some at 6 or 7. We're right now doing a lot of retirement planning because we're kind of at the end of the year. And for my team, while we do general financial well-being, we don't see a lot of attendance towards the end of the year, right? People are thinking holidays and people are thinking, I'm going to do some other stuff. So we don't see a ton, but we will start ramping that back up in July. So that's an option. The other thing I mentioned are our personal financial planning worksheets. So there's really one for every topic. If you were just trying to track your spending, right? Like that's the first step towards where's my money going. So we have a personal financial task list. That's really helpful. I'll show you our budgeting worksheet that we have. If you're trying to save, like how do you, what are you saving for? What are your savings goals? Do you have debt? Is there a debt management inventory that we can take so that you know where it is and it's all in one place? So there's a lot of different worksheets here that, to explore, to play around with. And again, just really as a resource for people. We also have our interactive learning modules. So these are the ones I was talking about that I really like. So if you were like financial caregiving, this is a new one. So I haven't taken this one quite yet, but if you click on that, once it loads, right. So they're all like 6 to 5 minutes, preventing elder abuse, reporting elder abuse, planning for a financial caregiving aspect. So these are really, they're really cool. You can also create a login if you wanted. So if you wanted to create a login so that you knew like, okay, I know I did becoming a caregiver, I need to do managing finances next. You can also build your own playlist. So you can actually, somebody could go in and kind of say, I want to learn about these topics, and it would kind of build them one. But we have healthcare finances, we have emergency savings, creating a budget. That's your roadmap to financial strength. So you could create your own, and then just some other options as well. So even like financial foundations, that's a relatively new one as well. But something that we'll see a lot when we're out teaching is we'll talk about like interest rates and APRs and things that we speak about every day, and people are like, I don't know what that means, right? So financial foundations paired with a glossary of financial terms that we created has been really helpful. Just in handing this out to let people know, like, hey, this is what we mean when we kind of talk about some of these terms. And again, this is on the website, completely free. So if it's something that would be helpful. This is where you can find all of our brochures. We have stuff on here, right, about like what kind of checking accounts we offer and what kind of mortgages we have. But we also have our financial education pieces. And so this is kind of what we're really talking about tonight. It's that end of life planning checklist or the budgeting worksheet, the glossary of terms, understanding credit. These are the things that are probably going to be, something that would be utilized by you a little bit more. And probably maybe the fraud education and awareness too. We see a lot of, I've been getting a lot of, I don't know what it is. I've just been getting a lot of fraud calls myself. But it happens to everyone. So, here are different ways to keep educated about that. And then we have our community resource guides. I probably don't need to share this, but I'll let you know that it's here. We created this a few years ago, and it's really just a list of partner organizations that we've partnered with if somebody needs an immediate need. We are not necessarily, right, the housing expert or the food instability expert, but we know that there are places out there. So we have one of these in each of our member centers. And then again, it's just something to reference or if it's helpful for you. And then just a couple of worksheets that are, I think, probably really helpful. Financial tools. This is really a QR code that goes to everything we're kind of talking about. So the workshops and the events, that links, the interactive modules, that one also is a link. The green path, if somebody is in the place where they're ready for like a debt consolidation. And then we have a mobile and online money management tool in our mobile app. So if you are a member, you can go in and it's kind of cool. You can like play around with your budget, where your spending is going. You can look and see just really kind of what your goals are and how you can like adjust. So we have that as well that can be helpful. I personally like a paper budget. Don't tell my boss, which is why I also wanted to share this one. So this is just our simple budget worksheet. It's got sources of income. It's got what are you saving for? What are your expenses? And we break those into categories. So I like it because I think it takes into account things we don't think about sometimes, like especially things that might be paid quarterly, like a utility, or if you are paying for like a prescription, right? Like that you might have completely forgot to put that in your budget. School supplies, that's another one. So if you have to buy school supplies, it's like, okay, I totally forgot about this until it was July or August. So this is kind of our getting started budgeting. This is also helpful. It's to track your expenses. So as you're starting out and thinking, okay, I really need to make a budget, the first thing that's really helpful is figuring out where your money is, like what you're spending your money on, right? I tell this story and it's a little embarrassing, but my husband and I redid our budget last year at the beginning of the year, and I was spending a lot more money at Starbucks than I thought I was, right? And I was like, because it's so easy, and you load the money on the card and then you scan the phone and it's fine. But just that $3 to $5, and I was like, oh my gosh, I spent a lot of money here. So it's just eye-opening to kind of look at that and kind of look at that for yourself. And then the other one that we have that's relatively new that I thought I would share is our medical debt checklist. So this is just something, and we have an estate planning one that's kind of similar. But it's, do you have insurance? Like yes, no, not applicable. And it's really, again, trying to get people to think of the things that they might need that's almost preventative financial well-being versus, maybe something after. And then again, at the bottom is that medical debt inventory piece. So if you do have medical debt, what is it? What's the amount owed? What do you still owe on it? And you can kind of keep that track, which can be helpful too. And then the last thing I just wanted to share and I don't know if this will be helpful or not, but we've seen a lot of people obviously that have been impacted by the federal government shutdown. And so we have a couple of things, a couple are member specific. We have a special shutdown loan for our members. So if you know people that have been affected by that, I think it is, yeah, so 0% interest first 90 days. So that's helpful because hopefully in 90 days they'll be able to pay that back because the government will be getting paid. And then we have skip a payment options. So if there is a payment that they need to make that they would like to skip, we have that option for them as well. And again, just community resources, Green Path, and then some. We talked about the money management in our financial learning center, but just that's an option for if you know anyone who's a Wright-Patt member that is having financial difficulties because of the government shutdown right now. Please feel free to let them know about this. But I'm gonna pause and see if anyone has any questions for me. Yeah.
Thanks, Randy. I've got a question.
Yeah.
The Green Path Financial Wellness, is there a cost for that?
Oh, oops, I didn't mean to click on that. So you meet with them for free.
Uh-huh.
If they do go through a debt management, I think it's $50, but that usually makes up for it with the savings that people are getting.
Sure. And most of these things are available even for folks who are not members. Yes.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, everything on the website really, I mean, you can pull up these financial worksheets. I can send some copies out if you want. I'm going to put our team's email address in the chat. So everything, and I'll put the website too. So it's just, so our email, if you want to reach out, my team does we don't do a ton of like one-on-one coaching. All of our member center locations do one-on-one coaching with our members. So if somebody comes in, they want to start a budget, they want to work on their debt, they want to start saving, they can help them with that. My team does a lot of group setting work. So we might get together with a group of 20 community members, maybe 5 or 10 are Wright-Patt credit union members, but it's really just people in community. And we do those more like general budgeting classes and credit classes, debt classes, really just to get that educational piece out there.
And somebody asked in the chat, where do we access this? This is just your website that you gave the link to at the bottom.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. It doesn't seem like there are any other questions for me, but like I said, my team loves to get out and do, things in community. So if there's an opportunity for that, let us know. If you need anything from us, we're more than happy to print off some of these and drop them off or whatever, whatever we can do. So yeah, that's all I had, but thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Randy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, and then up next we have Eileen Hall, who has also some other new employees who are joining her tonight. But Eileen, I'll let you introduce yourself. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and make sure my presentation works, and then we'll do introductions. Let's see. I want to do my full screen. Okay. All right, you can see my presentation. And I can't see you guys, so if someone could say something, that'd be great.
Yes, I can
Yep.
see.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Eileen Hall. I'm the executive director of Dayton Energy Collaborative, and I also have my new intake team here joining me. So, Rue, Tess, and Austin, if you want to come off your mics and just say hey to everyone and your position, that would be great.
Hello, everybody. My name is Austin Ford, and I am the intake systems manager.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tasfalam Hari. I am a case manager at Dayton Energy Collaborative. It's nice to see you all.
I don't know if Rue is also there.
Can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Hi, sorry about that. I'm on my phone, and so it's not, helping me out here. I'm Rue Gray. I am I am with Dayton Energy Collaborative, and I am the intake resource manager.
Love it. Yes. So they just came on and I'll tell you about their roles and what we do at Dayton Energy Collaborative. I'm also going to talk about the Dayton Home Repair Network, which is an effort that we've been building the last few years with partners who do home repairs. So I'm going to go over an overview of what we do as an organization and then that network. So first of all, who we are at Dayton Energy Collaborative. Our mission is to collaborate with organizations and residents to make existing housing energy efficient, resilient, and healthy. So it's in our name. We are really big on collaborating. We are big on resource connecting before we create new resources. There's lots of resources in the Dayton region, but we don't always work together. So we're all about creating those streamlined processes of collaboration and then really focus on the existing housing that we have in the city of Dayton. As we know, there's an old housing stock and a lot of deferred maintenance on the houses. So we're all about retrofitting the current housing stock that we have to make sure it's resilient for people living in the house, doesn't fall apart, and then that it's healthy. So the housing is one of the biggest impacts on people's health. So we're also focused on that. So really, we bring a holistic mindset into every house that we step in. And then who is the Dayton Home Repair Network? So the network is a coalition of organizations who collaborate to provide critical home repair, weatherization, and home repair services to under-resourced households in the Dayton, Ohio region. Our goal by working together is to ensure no home is left with vital projects incomplete. And there's a lot of us, so I have a little table to break down everyone's role in the network. So we, Dayton Energy Collaborative, we facilitate that network, and I'll talk about exactly what we do and how we serve these partners on the next slide. So we have the city of Dayton. I call them the capacity sponsor. Really, we partner with several departments at the city who really boost our capacity in many ways in terms of they connect us to funding, their staff help with the community outreach, their planners help with technical assistance, so on and so forth. And then the actual home repair programs that we work with are Rebuilding Together Dayton County Corp, Habitat for Humanity, and Miami Valley Community Action Partnership. Community Action Partnership also has a weatherization program that is focused on making houses more energy efficient. And then we work with Liberty High School and Youth Build Dayton. Their construction students complete essential exterior projects on some of the houses that we serve. First, how we actually collaborate, some methods. We meet monthly. We have a universal application. That's one of the ways that we streamline our processes. So it's all of everyone's applications combined into one. We have formed committees to help us make sure we can do work more strategically. We also have a project tracking spreadsheet where everyone has access to it amongst the partners so we can see who's doing what on each house. And then we have a shared contractor list to make sure we're getting the most quality work done with the grant dollars that we have. There are many benefits of collaboration, and you can probably already come up with some yourself. But some of the few are that by working together, we leverage about $50,000 of potential funding per household that is dependent on the grants that the individual or the programs that the individual is eligible for and the grant dollars that are available. But by working together, we can really bring that comprehensive approach. We don't have to go into one house, do one project and walk away. We can really look at, okay, what are the essential things that need to be done in this house and try to complete as many as possible. And research shows that by completing home repairs and energy efficiency work at the same time, that's the most effective way to reduce energy bills for residents. And so we're effectively doing that. And then, of course, by just having so many partners, we're able to reach more residents who really need our assistance. So I talked about, okay, what is exactly the facilitator role that we do at Dayton Energy Collaborative? So we facilitate the network. What does that mean? That means we really make sure we're communicating all the time. We run those monthly meetings. We make sure that we have effective ways to talk to each other. We make sure those committees are meeting. Really just the communication is the biggest part of that facilitation role. We operate the community clearinghouse for the Dayton Home Repair Network programs. So really what that means is anyone can call us at Dayton Energy Collaborative, our intake team, who's all here today, determine if you're eligible for any programs, and then we offer application assistance and eligibility navigation. And then third, we build functional collaborative processes. So really what that means is, okay, how do we can talk all the time, but sometimes we really need effective processes to work together. So some of the ways we've done that is we built that universal application. We built that project tracking spreadsheet. We're working on a way to address our consolidated wait list at this point in time. And then we look to fill gaps in the Dayton Home Repair Network. So the ways that we do that, we have a gap project program, and that really is, we heard our partners talking about deferrals, and so they'll go into a house and they actually have to walk away because they don't have funding to address the bugs or the mold or something before they can do what they came in there for. So for instance, if they're going to do the furnace but then they find bed bugs, they have to usually, not all the time, but there's very limited funding to address those bugs to then do the furnace, so they'll have to defer that household. And so to reduce those deferrals, we have started a program to just get funding to get like unrestricted funding to address those deferrals as best we can. So I talked about we are the clearinghouse. This is one community access point for home repairs. All these programs have existed for a long time and they've done fantastic work, but that means that previously residents of Dayton and the Montgomery County area would have to call each individual program to see if they'd be eligible for all of those different programs respectively, and or they would call one, not be eligible, then be referred to one or given a list of 5 different numbers. To reduce that strain on residents, we can be that one call center. So this is good too. It's, you don't need to just need the home repairs. You can refer people to us and you can just call and say, hey, I have a neighbor, I have a client who really needs home repair assistance. I don't know if you guys can help. We will work through that process. So if you were if you're able to give us someone's contact information, or you're able to give this line, the main line, and or this email to anyone, they can reach out to us and we determine if they'll be eligible for any programs. And then if so, we provide application support. And I also mentioned, when possible, we provide guidance to overcome eligibility barriers, because there are lots of different programs, requirements for each of the respective programs that we work with. I talked about the universal application. This is the first step for all of our partner programs. This is the one that combines 5 different applications. I'm also going to jump in here and mention that I know that there are lots of renters who are needing assistance on either home repairs or have high utility bills or need energy efficiency work. Unfortunately, the only program that currently works with rental households is our partner program at Miami Valley Community Action Partnership. Their weatherization program can work with renters with the landlord's approval, who they need to sign off. The unfortunate thing is that program only can address furnace, water heater, insulation, air sealing, and ventilation. It can't address the big things like structural, roof, siding, gutters, etc. We know there's a big gap there. We are working with the city to start a landlord-tenant pilot. It's going to be really small, but it's going to be in 2026 to work to find better solutions to bring more repairs to tenant-occupied houses, as we know that's half of Dayton's population. We still encourage residents who are renting, if they're having difficulty with the repairs or weatherization is something that they need, especially like furnace at this time of year, or water heater, to give us a call. We'll still determine if they're eligible for that rental program. It's going to be a different application than this one, but we can still provide some support on that make sure they're connected to Community Action Partnership, and ideally get them connected to the help that they need. And if not to, there's connections we can give them to connect them to to take their best steps to start the escrow process, if their landlord is really being not attentive to the needs of the house. So I'm going to go over, there's a few slides about our process just to help you understand how we work together. I'm not going to go super in depth on it, but just so you see, okay, how do we actually go from step to step with all these different programs? So first of all, we start with the application. So a resident will reach out to us. I just talked about our staff. This is our intake team who's on this call today. We'll help determine eligibility with our questionnaire, send out a universal application when applicable. The resident then needs to complete that application, and then they submit it back to us, and or we do that together in an application appointment. Then we internally will submit that application to the applicable program or programs that they're eligible for, and then we'll add it to that database so everyone can see it. And then it turns over to our partners. So we don't actually make the final approval or denial on an application. Our goal is to get that person, that client, to the closest we can to become approved, but we don't actually make that final call. That is to our partner programs, the home repair and weatherization programs. They will do that actual determination of approval, denial, or wait list. And then they will do their actual home visit, determine project they can do, and actually contract out that project. Briefly talking about the waitlist process. So this does happen quite frequently. As you can imagine, there's a super high need in the Dayton area, and not a lot of funding to go around. So currently, that's exactly what's happening. There's not a lot of funding, barely any right now with our partners. So most people are just getting waitlisted, unfortunately. We are anticipating that we're gonna get more funding in the spring, but at this time, most people are being waitlisted. And so that will happen. Either we'll push them to the application phase and then they'll be waitlisted, depending on if we think that partner program has funding or if they have an urgent need. But it doesn't mean they're going to get funding right away. And then sometimes too, we'll just say, we're going to put you on a wait list. We don't want you to complete an application because it's not worth it at this time to go through that process when we know there's no funding. You're going to have to reapply once again when there is funding. So we currently it's dependent on what you're eligible for, so still encourage people to reach out to us, and we will help you through that process. Talking really briefly too about how we work with Liberty High School and our GAP project program. I already mentioned GAP project program, but at Liberty High School, sometimes there's a essential exterior project that no one is funding for, so that's when we pull in our partners at Liberty High School, see if it's something that those students can complete. And then we work with them directly, DEC does, to coordinate that project. So they're another kind of capacity arm of the network. I'm going to go a little bit over the work that we completed last year and some of the example houses, and then end with contact information. So this is, in last year, you can get an idea of what our most common projects are: furnace, water heaters, roofs, electrical work, plumbing work, bathroom modifications, handrails and steps, insulation and flooring. This is really critical projects of a house. We're not doing fences, we're not doing painting, we're not doing kitchen remodels. We're thinking really critical accessibility modifications, health and safety, structural repairs. Last year, we completed about almost 200 households that at least 2 of our partner programs contributed to. And then we have a list of the highest served neighborhoods in the city of Dayton. I'll mention here too that these programs are not limited to the city of Dayton. All of them serve all of Montgomery County, and some go beyond Montgomery County. So people in Greene County, Miami County, and further can get some assistance. But Montgomery County is the highest need area, and we get the highest call volume of Montgomery County. And so it's focused on Dayton, but we're not restricted just to city limits based on funding. Some funding sources are restricted to just the city of Dayton. What our work actually looks like. So I'm going to show an example of, we did a neighborhood initiative in Twin Towers, and this was a house that 5 different programs completed projects on. You can't see that the porch was really, really falling apart, and so we ended up redoing that, and that was one partner. We also the house was weatherized, so had new insulation put in, furnace. The electrical panel was upgraded to be up to code and have higher electrical capacity. That was another partner. We also had to get raccoons out of the attic and clean out the old insulation before the new insulation could get put in. So we did that project. And the total investment was just about $35,000. These, I'm going to show a house from in the Five Oaks area that ARPA money was contributed to. 3 different partners worked on this house with the projects being exterior. You can see the siding, the roof, the windows. There's also interior bathroom redone, electrical work, mold abatement, and the house is also being weatherized with a total of just under $90,000 being invested in this house. This is an example of 2 different funding sources being leveraged. So ARPA dollars, that was the American Rescue Plan Act, and then Let's Safe Ohio dollars that went into this house that completely remodeled this house. One partner did the full exterior work. We're now working with this resident to help them apply for weatherization, with which they would not have been able to. I talked about those deferrals. This house would have been deferred from weatherization because of the structural issues on this house. Had they just applied for weatherization, they would have been denied. But because we're able to bring in a partner to fix up the exterior, now they'll be eligible for weatherization, hopefully. And you can see that big number, 124,000 to date. This was a lead abatement, so they had to do a lot of technical work to make sure that the paint wasn't exposed to the elements anymore. It was encapsulated with the new siding. These are pictures of projects that Liberty High School has completed. You can see the steps on the left-hand side, and then the stairs on the right-hand side, the railing and the stairs that were not up to code for this individual made it a lot easier, a lot more accessible to enter into the house. And I'll just end with one quote. This is from that homeowner in Five Oaks after receiving the help, mentioned how much she was breathing better after the mold and mildew was removed, how much the walk-in shower helped her arthritis, and just how much the updates had made her house safer and more comfortable. Thank you so much. I'm happy to answer questions. I also have my contact information here if you want to reach out to me directly. And then again, that main line, if you are referring anyone to us or want to get in touch with our intake team, best way to do it is to take down this information. It's also on our website. You can either give us a call, you can text that line, and you can also email us. And I'm gonna escape here so that I can see anyone who has questions and answer those.
I actually have a question. Hi, it's Jennifer.
Yeah.
Hey. So did you mention that the CAP program for rentals, in addition to just weatherization, can do furnace and hot water repairs, hot water heater repairs?
Yes.
If they're
responsible. So their weatherization program includes, I'll go through the list again. So insulation, air sealing, efficient hot water heater, efficient furnace, and then ventilation. So Jennifer, they will replace a furnace, especially if it's really inefficient or not working. If it's like a 95% furnace, they're not going to replace that furnace. To give you an idea. So it's not every single one that they're replacing, but I do see them alive if it's an inefficient one or if it's barely working or not working at all.
Okay, well,
Same
that's
with the
good
water
to
heater.
know. Awesome.
Yeah.
And actually just
And-
slightly off topic, perhaps, because when you talked about Liberty High School, that's what brought it to mind. So do you have, so crossover community development is, in Old North Dayton now, working out of Christ Lutheran Church. They do ESL programs, primarily for immigrants and refugees. And they're particularly trying to teach English skills that are necessary to get folks into trade education programs, into employment. So just today I had a conversation with them. They're trying to come up with, what's the next track they want to work on. They're doing healthcare right now, but they're really trying to get into the building trades. So if you have any ideas for groups that are looking for either students or already skilled people, but where English might be a barrier, I can hook you up with them and benefit both.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk offline about this, but quickly are these people who like all different ages, or are they more youth? Because they could enroll at Liberty High School, but it is, I think 24 is the oldest age that can enroll there.
So my guess is they're mostly working with adults, but I did bring that up today because I said, try Sinclair as a way to get a network, but I said then that brought to mind CTC. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm thinking too, the sustainability office, Meg's office is doing some work on workforce development, and Niani is probably the best contact there. So happy
Okay.
to connect you and or directly to crossover community development and just see if there's ties there. They're working on like a
Okay.
contractor network and then kind of professional development. So that might be a good place for at least people to be connected to.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Eileen, most of our neighbors would probably qualify financially, the neighbors that we are helping out. But just out of curiosity, I'm assuming that primarily the qualifications have to do with their income.
Yeah, I can run through the eligibility criteria quickly. So there is an income qualification, and it does depend on the program. So the highest maximum for any of the programs is 300% of the federal poverty line. And then the other ones, so most of the programs do require you to be the homeowner. You need to live in the house and own the home. There's that rental program, and that requires you to be have an active lease and have a landlord sign off on that. And then the other programs that are homeowner owned, some of them require insurance. You need to be up to date on property taxes, and I feel like I'm forgetting one. Tess, Rue, Austin, what am I forgetting? Not to put you on the spot. But income is definitely the biggest one, and then especially oh, go ahead, Rue.
I was just gonna say that you have to have your name on the deed. And did you say
it needs to be owner occupied.
and insurance?
Yep, insurance.
Bills.
Yeah. The documentation. So the documentation is also part of it, which we can help with too. So if that gives you an idea, there's definitely needs to be like in good standing. If you own the house, your name really needs to be on the deed, insurance, up to date on property taxes. For that renter program, still going to be income based, and then having your landlord sign off, and you got to get all your documents together. So that requires social security cards for everyone in the household and proof of income.
Is there any like cost sharing, or is it all completely free to the?
Yeah, if you're eligible, it comes at no cost to the resident for any of the programs.
Did I see on one of your slides that there's a waiting list of between 1,500 and 2,000?
Yeah, so in the city of Dayton limits, we went through it again. It's 970, and we're currently we're gonna focus our next funding on addressing that wait list. But in the Montgomery County area, it's just under 2,000. People have been on there for years, so it speaks to the need. It speaks to how fast funding goes through. As you can see, we spent $124,000 just on the exterior of one house. Like, these are big projects. We don't always do that, and we try not to spend that much money. Our partners don't try to spend that much money on it, but yeah, the costs are crazy high, as you all know, and home repairs are extensive, so it can really bring up the costs. Any other questions? Like I said, happy to answer any and all questions. You can reach out to me directly, or our main line or our main email, and we can get you the information that you need.
Thanks, Eileen.
And Rue and Tess and Austin.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank you.
having us.
Thank you.
And then our final presenter tonight is Maria from FLOC, or For the Love of Children.
Hello. I apologize. I don't have a fancy presentation as I was told to step in for a peer of mine last minute. But as you heard, I am. Am I unmuted? I think that was her. Okay. I am a director at For Love of Children. We provide much needed resources for foster children, kinship, homeless children, or kids in with much needed needs of resource. I'm very unprivileged. Those resources come in many programs we provide. We have a huge Christmas for Kids program, which has closed for this year. So currently we're trying to match families who want to adopt other families to extend that Christmas aid. We have Coats for Kids that if you have a need to keep a child warm during the winter, please reach out. We try to get as many out into the community as possible. A new initiative we have is Gifts of Love, it was initiated by the need to provide homeless children something to own. So they're little suitcases and they have quilts and, water bottles and comfort items and toiletries, socks, all sorts of goodies that they could just take ownership of. They're in a rolling suitcase, so it's easy I know sometimes they have to pack to move. And so we have several of those still accessible. I believe we have 100 still accessible to the community. We dress kids for formal events, fully free. A lot of the children in our community in need of resource, unfortunately, can't afford these events, so they don't attend. Send them to FLOC. We will get them dressed. And so they could also attend those. We have cooking classes. We provide tutoring. We've also partnered with so many people, other nonprofits in our community. So if we don't have the resource, we are going to find it. We've partnered with somebody who helps us with clothing and toys, diapers, sometimes beds. Keep in mind, we're children based, so a twin bed, a toddler, a crib. But again, we just try to piggyback off each other to try to serve as much as we can the need in the community, which is just growing by the day, unfortunately. We also have school supplies. So if you're in need of any school supplies, or you see a teacher struggling or children, anybody, please reach out to us. You can, reach out to our president, Ms. Beth Mann. You go to our website, flockdaytonohio.org, and email us, or now you have our contact. Max has it. Just shout and we're here to serve. Any questions?
Tell me, I was excited to hear about the suitcases for the kids. Tell me about what your, the right word's not coming to me, but what's your metric for receiving those items? Is that kids have to be unhoused, staying with a relative? Tell me how you see kind of being good stewards of that.
So we have two different programs that we have one that we prefer for them to be unhoused and that's the suitcase. It just has more items where a child that's living with a relative qualifies for Comfort a Bag. And so Comfort a Bag is more for kids that are being pulled out of homes or being moved. Domestic violence incidents are really common with our comforter bags. And they have comfort items. They do have a blanket, a teddy bear, journal, toiletries, socks. But it's a smaller unit. So for the suitcases, we're trying to focus more on, probably on house, displaced.
Sure. Sure. Thank you.
Maria,
And
do
then-
you work with, I'm sorry, didn't even mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead, Rue.
Do you work with the like the homeless shelters and also with the court system?
We
For the-
do. We do. We have our hands in, all the buckets. Uh, Most people know where to find us. We work with, Montgomery Children's Services. We're Greene County. We don't limit ourselves. It used to be just Dayton, but we really don't say no to anyone. We helped with Christmas down in Springfield last year. So we just said Dayton and the greater surrounding in Ohio. Where there's a need, we'll try to figure it out as much as possible. Like I said, we just finished our Christmas for Kids, and I think are going to be serving 5,000 kids this year, which is a big growth from last year's 4,200. And I see the need. I get it all every day, a million calls. Where do we find food? And I feel if we can all get together and just know the resources, and FLOC is 100% volunteer. So 100% of the monies we receive go to, providing these resources. I forgot what I had started to say when I went on my tangent about volunteering. Just partnerships are important to know where the need is and to know where to send those that need. I get questions all the time. It was interesting on the house repairs. Unfortunately, the list it's kind of long and waitful, but it's a good resource to know and to have. So I appreciate you inviting us on here. It's a little bit, I learned quite a bit today.
So Maria, how do folks request your services? Do they have to go through one of your partner agencies, or can individuals just call you and say, hey, my kid needs formal clothes, or I need Christmas help?
Yes, so you come to us. You come to FLOC, you reach out to us, the family reaches out, and we typically set a meeting to get a feel for the family. We try not to be very invasive, but we know right away the need. You can see it, you can sense it. We've done it for so long, and it's either Ms. Beth or I that meet with the family. We're big on dignity. Come ask. We all need help sometime. It's fine. And we get them set up with whatever program or resource they may be needing. If we do not have it, that's when we outsource the need. We start making calls to try to get it filled. It's not often we don't locate what we need.
And when do you start your, taking requests for Christmas things? So if you're already closed for the year, when could have folks reach? Because they're just now starting to reach out to us, most of them. So
Yeah.
next year, when do we tell them they could reach out to you for help first?
So for Christmas for Kids, we'd like to get like a list. Like Miss Jennifer, I don't know who you work with, what's your organization, but if you call me and say, hey, can you provide me 20 families for Christmas? And we will send you those forms. For Christmas, we're a little more picky. We'd like to have either a social worker or, somebody who really, really knows the need of the family. It's tough for us to just take families on Christmas, or our director for Christmas. She's just had a lot of bad experiences with people double, triple dipping. And so we try to minimize that to maximize the aid. And so we really like referrals for the Christmas. We typically send out the forms in August, and we close acceptance by October 1st because that's when we get to work. And it is a lot of work to get these bags ready because the bags are pretty full of greatness. And so it takes quite a bit of a team to get them all wrapped and bagged up in order to get them out before Christmas.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. We do make exceptions. So if there's like a very, very dire exception, we will find it. I'm currently looking for families who always want to adopt. We always get those families matched up to families who really, really need help. And this year, unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of families wanting to adopt, which I'm shocked, but not shocked. So hopefully more will roll in as we approach November.
You mean to adopt a family, another family for Christmas?
Correct.
Not to adopt children necessarily.
No, just adopt for gifting. Yeah.
Right.
What is the commitment from somebody who wants to adopt?
For gifting for Christmas,
Yes.
as small or big as the person is willing. We don't put, we don't ask for, it's volunteer. So whether it's your time, donation, kindness, it's whatever size the person can afford or is willing to give and donate.
So do you adopt like a family and then you shop for them, or do you donate money so you shop for them, or?
We accept both. The director of our Christmas program shops and she knows where to buy everything on a great deal. That's why she's our shopper and she handles it all. And so we could do it that way. Or you could say, hey, I just want to adopt one child. Tell me their likes. And we could handle it that way. I can reach out. Say, oh, the kid likes dinosaurs. He's 5. He needs rain boots. The other day, this mom just wanted toilet paper towels, and a lamp. And so I'm like, wait, what? So it's really what the person wishes to, what's their limits. We usually try to find and pair it so both parties are satisfied and happy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I went on a tour of FLOC over the summer. Beth brought me around to all these rooms full, like, you know what I'm talking about, Maria, but unless any of the rest of you have been there, you would not believe the amount of rooms completely full of toys and organized, and it's just, I was just completely blown away.
Well, you
But-
should see it now. The toy cottage is quite empty. And she's shopping again. I mean, Christmas starts again for 26 already. So yeah, if anybody ever wants to come down, we're there Mondays and Thursdays, 3:30 to 6:30, Miss Beth and I. And you can always come down and see us, and take a tour or see what we're about. Tell us more about how we could help.
I was also, I mean, there were so many things that blew me away. The place where high school kids could come and get a dresses to suits, whatever, for formal, for prom or for homecoming or whatever, and the way they're treated. I was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, everything is very special, and we dressed 67 kids this fall, which grew from 42 last year. And I am addicted to what I know I'm giving this child with whatever resource we provide at FLOC, and that's why this is a full-time job, and I do it. It's my favorite job of mine. Just to see those kids get whatever it is they received at that moment. We are very lucky to do what we do. So I'm glad you got to see. You need to come down when some magic is happening.
Yeah, I might have missed whether or not you said this, but can you say a little bit about, like, like kids can come there and have music lessons and talk about that if you would.
Yeah, so we do have music classes as well. We have a piano teacher currently. And they just come in and they get free piano classes. We have arts and crafts. I have them try, I have all sorts of sororities that volunteer and do the coolest little crafts. A lot of our children in that population don't get arts in school or at home. I mean, arts and crafts are very expensive. So we try to fill these children with just experiences that they wouldn't have otherwise. And so we have cooking. Every once in a while, we get sewing where they can mend a hole or sew a button. Um, what else have we had? We have Money Madness. It's our financial program where we teach kids how to manage money, what is money, how to count money. Yeah, and tutoring. We tutor kids Mondays and Thursdays and have all the other live activities on those 2 days. And again, everything is free. It's a free resource to our families. And it's just a joy. We have kids of all walks. I just not only have underprivileged, I have very abused children. And so they come in very sheltered and quiet and wounded and very standoffish, but just give us a few weeks. Those kids walk in there and they are so different. They're taller, they start to smile at you. And we just want to break the cycle. We just break the cycle, tell the child things can be different. There are other options. And if we plant a little seed, we never know where it's gonna grow. So
Well, thank you, Maria. Thank you for stepping in late notice and being an awesome hero. So I appreciate it a lot.
it was my honor. Reach out if you need us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you to all of our other presenters. There are no more questions before we go. I would just like to thank everyone for taking their time to be a part of this. I know I learned a lot. I know people who are going to see this recording are going to learn a lot. And I'm very, very excited just to have a lot more to share, and that there are so many awesome people doing great work in the Dayton area. So with that, thank you all so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.